This is why my wife takes so long to undress every night? The deep, masculine voice filled the room, startling Ada faster than a bucket of ice-cold water straight from the stream. Ada jumped back, twisting away from Madame. She cast a glance behind her, even though she knew who entered the room. There could be only one man standing there. Only one man would be allowed anywhere near Madame's chamber. Monsieur stood in the doorway, his arms crossed over his chest. He'd only donned a pair of pantaloons, leaving the rest of him bare. The firelight glinted off his dark hair. Ada dipped her eyes downward. She'd never seen a man in such a state of undress, and certainly not Monsieur. She's got a nice little servant girl to help her. This must be why you don't find my attentions invigorating enough. He looked at Ada with a combination of lust and scorn, and her body quivered. Well, don't stop now, girl. Get back to the task you're here for. Pierre, leave her be, Madame defended. Her voice wobbled slightly, showing more weakness than Ada had ever witnessed from her mistress. I'm not doing anything to her, darling. He leaned back on the writing desk across the room from the bed, crossing his legs at the ankles. The position highlighted the bulge protruding proudly between his legs. His stance was casual and relaxed, but his muscles remained tense. Simply enjoying the show. His lips turned up in a smile, not one of joy, but with a wicked intent that had goosebumps rising across Ada's entire body. Warmth curled in her belly, unexpected and not unpleasant. But after she's done, I get another turn. Ada shivered at the dark, husky quality of his voice, though she had no idea why. She glanced back at Monsieur, his midnight eyes focused on her, and her skin danced beneath his gaze. Madame stepped forward. She grabbed her shift and hauled the fabric up over her head in one quick motion. All thoughts of Monsieur and what he might think disappeared. Everything else vanished beneath the sight of a naked Madame. Madame leaned back against the bedpost, lengthening her long, graceful body against the pole. With a flick of her fingers, she commanded Ada to come to her, and Ada didn't hesitate. She almost ran to Madame. Every nerve in her body shook. Her heart pounded. After all this time, after all her hoping and wishing and praying, she was finally here again, with her mistress, the only place she wanted to be. Madame tangled her fingers in Ada's hair, yanking her head close until their lips touched. Ada moaned at the brush of Madame's soft lips against her own. The warmth of Madame's breath puffed against her mouth. It was so similar to all the other times they'd been this close, yet this time Madame tasted different. A twinge of salt and brandy laced her mistress's breath, adding a darker edge to the kiss. Madame's tongue extended, and Ada eagerly opened for her, welcoming her. Their tongues duelled, their mouths molded together. Ada moaned into the kiss. Wrapping her hands around Madame's waist, she yanked her mistress closer, needing the touch of Madame's body as much as her next breath. The tips of Madame's breasts brushed against Ada's chest, creating little scores of heat across her skin. Madame twisted her fingers in Ada's hair and tugged her closer, the slight pain of the grip a small price to pay for the joy of having Madame close, of knowing her mistress missed her, just as Ada had missed Madame. Madame pulled away, breaking the kiss, and Ada fought back a groan. She didn't want either of her masters to think she was ungrateful. She worshipped every minute she was close to Madame, but such a small taste only left her wanting more. It was torture, being so close and allowed only so much. Don't worry, Ada. Madame smiled, her eyes alive and bright with need. Her lips were swollen and slick from their kiss, and Ada's head swam at the sight. A beauty Ada had helped to create.